Hi, beautiful Cancer. Um, I have to tell you, this reading already feels very heavy in the heart space. Before anything is even fully revealed, Spirit is showing me someone sitting in deep regret, sadness, and emotional pain over what happened between you. And what stands out to me is the 111 energy around this connection. This feels like awakening, alignment, and truth coming to the surface. Honestly, this person is starting to see everything through a different lens now. Um, they are realizing how deeply their actions, their silence, or their choices affected you. This does not feel like someone who is proud of how they acted. They may keep replaying the moment they hurt you, the words they said, the silence they gave, or the way they pulled away when they should have been honest. It is about finally understanding your heart, your love, your loyalty, and how much you truly gave to this connection. Spirit is showing me an awakening happening through regret. A shift is happening inside this person, and divine timing may be guiding them toward accountability. So, trust your intuition because 11 to 11 energy may be surrounding this connection for a reason. Someone is filled with regret and sadness because they never meant to hurt you, and now their heart may be guiding them toward truth, healing, and an apology they can no longer keep inside. And let's get into your reading. Okay, so the first thing that's coming through is this energy where I feel like your person is experiencing this really strong pull towards you and it's almost overwhelming for them. It's like you naturally become the center of their attention, bringing this excitement into their life that they just can't seem to find anywhere else. They're sitting there thinking, I choose them. No matter what, I choose them. There's just this deep longing they can't seem to shake. And with this person, there's this real fascination with everything about you. They notice the little things, the way you carry yourself, the way you smell, the way you move, all of it stays with them. There's just something about your energy they can't stop thinking about. They're wondering, why does everything about them stay in my mind? For those of you who aren't speaking right now, this person still wants you. For those of you who are in contact, they simply want more of your time. If they saw you recently, they're already thinking about the next time they'll see you again. Those little gaps between conversations or seeing each other feel much longer than they actually are. They're thinking, I miss them already. More than anything, they just want to be around you. I also feel like one of the things they admire most is how calming your energy is. Being around you brings out a different side of them. It almost feels like you've helped them connect with themselves in a way they never expected. For some of them, this connection has been the beginning of a real spiritual awakening. There's also a lot of love here that simply hasn't been spoken. This person has incredibly deep feelings for you, but they've struggled to put them into words. They see you as someone who's grounded, graceful, and dependable. They keep thinking, do they even know how much they mean to me? I feel like there have been a lot of obstacles that stop them from expressing all of this. But underneath that, I think they're genuinely afraid of being vulnerable. They're wondering, what if I disappoint them? What if I finally open up and it's too late? That's where so much of this sadness comes from. Imagine having all these feelings and not knowing how to express them. Just because communication comes naturally to one person doesn't mean it comes naturally to another. For them, saying how they really feel has always been the difficult part. I also feel like your role in this connection has always been bigger than either of you realized. Your energy naturally encourages them to become more honest with themselves. You challenge them to step out of old fears and start living more authentically. That's why this connection has been so transformative for them. With this quiet energy coming through, you're dealing with somebody who genuinely loves you. They want to open up, they want to tell you the truth. They want you to know how loyal they feel towards you. They keep thinking, I just want them to know how I feel. But honestly, I don't think you've heard even half of what's been going through their mind. They see you as someone who almost doesn't seem real. They're thinking, how did someone like them come into my life? There's something about your energy that's light, uplifting, and comforting all at once. You make them believe that maybe the life they've imagined really is possible. I also feel like they daydream about you constantly. You're on their mind far more than you probably realize. To them, you represent the future they actually want. I wouldn't be surprised if they've mentioned you to close friends more than once. But when it comes to saying all of this directly to you, that's where they still struggle. They keep thinking, I just need the courage to say it. They see you as their purpose fulfilled, their sun, moon, and stars, their everything. Do you see like how incredibly deep this person's feelings run? But they're not opening up and saying it. There's a I feel like. But you know what's weird is with this energy, there's like a lot of regret here with this person. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling a ton of regret. I feel like this person has like deliberately held back their energy from you. And I feel like this person is someone who's like really afraid to like take leaps of faith. They're scared to like just take a chance and see what might happen. But I also feel like with this person, they're so over being held back. They're tired of like waiting to get chosen here. You know, this is someone who was definitely like in denial about their own like toxic patterns. And now they're having this like major awakening in a way, right? Where they're looking at things and they're realizing it was always you. You're somebody that's been like a wish come true for this person. And I think that you've really helped this person work on a lot of childhood wounding. You've helped this person work on their insecurities. You've kind of given this person a level of, I don't even know how to explain what they're showing me, but it's almost like you've created some type of foundation for this person to feel steady. So, for this person to feel comfortable in who they are, just like a wish granted, this person wished for somebody like you. They prayed for somebody like you. They always wanted this type of relationship. So now that it's in front of them, it's almost like it's too good to be true. They know you must be tired of hearing excuses, just talk and no action. This person, besides just talking, for some of you guys, you're dealing with somebody who says something and then they always go back on their word. So it's almost like you don't believe whatever they're saying because there's never any action or never any follow through with this person. This person also, I feel like they were not open again to their own issues until now. For those of you guys that are not talking to this person, they know that you're at the point where you're tired of them not putting forth any effort. They know that you're no longer going to sit around and wait for them to choose you. You're going to go ahead and forge ahead no matter how much you love them, and you always will love them. But this person is understanding that instead of just talk, they have to open up. They have to share more. They have to work on this. This is something that they actually physically have to work on. And it takes time to build whatever they've broken, to rebuild it, to be organized, to be prepared when it comes to you with this wish granted feeling and knowing it's been all talk. They want to be able to show you how much you mean to them without, saying it. Like they want to be able to show you. This also may be somebody who's not as talkative, but this is somebody that wants to show you action wise, because I feel like holding back emotions and just talking without acting, this is opposing energy. So this may be somebody who doesn't have a problem communicating except when it comes to their emotions. But I also feel like for a lot of you guys that are watching, this is somebody who you really haven't had a lot of communication with because this person has been in deep thought about the situation. Yeah. See, communication is coming in though, because I don't know why I'm getting a very antsy energy with this person where they wish they could go back in time. They wish that they could change things. They wish that they could have really trusted you, because whoever this person is, like they didn't trust you enough to completely open up to you, to completely be vulnerable to you. That's why they kept pushing you away. But now with this feeling of communication coming closer, expect a message soon. They want to express how much they truly miss you. This is somebody that misses you. This is somebody who's in a position where a lot in their life is changing. There's something about your situation right now where things are in flux and anything could happen at any moment. But with this person, they needed to take this break to kind of like reinstill this confident energy, because I do feel like there's a message coming in here and this person is going to fight for you. They're very, very determined, is what I just heard, to win you back. For some of them, they may have been sick recently, or you may be getting sick. Like you and this person feel each other's energy, and I feel like they're so tired of avoiding this situation. I think that they're tired of avoiding their feelings. I think that they're tired of just watching you from a distance. That feeling of just you, that's this person admiring you from afar, trying to understand everything about you prior to coming forward, prior to making some type of move towards reconciliation. I feel like this person is tired of not facing reality. I think that this person had to take a very deep dive into the mirror, into themselves, to realize that who they've been telling themselves they are is not who they've been portraying. Because this person had a very fear-based way of thinking, they would run for cover. They would try to do everything possible in order to avoid this connection and or in order to avoid this situation. But see, now there's this feeling of communication opening up. It's like this person, they can't blend in anymore. Like this person wants to open up. They want to express to you how they feel. They want to tell you how much they miss you, how important you are to them, how significant you are, how you've been this major catalyst for change. This person wants to be with you forever. How you found each other, you are meant to be together forever and ever, for eternity. Whoever this person is, you and them may have met in an unconventional way. Maybe it started with a DM on Instagram, maybe it was on a dating site, maybe it was on Facebook. Maybe you guys met each other at work or stumbled across each other randomly. As random as it seems for the two of you guys to come together, it's actually not really random at all. The reason it's not so random at all is because there was always this moment where the two of you guys were meant to cross paths. And this person is thinking about the way that you guys came into contact, how it was almost like a movie. They think back of it now, of when the two of you guys were together. This person really does feel like the two of you make a great team, an indestructible force that many wish they could be, liked by few, envied. Whoever your person is, they also have this energy where I feel like a lot of people are interested in them. They have a lot of energy around them. And same thing for you. But the thing about your person is, your person only has eyes for you. They're in an energy where they're very focused on you, even if they've not expressed it. They view you as something, as like a gift or something that is being given to them. This person is also being forced to look at their own toxic behaviors, their destructional behaviors. And this person is realizing that you and them match each other. You match energy. And this person is really wanting to follow their heart right now. They're really wanting to take this leap of faith. They still love you so much despite whatever it looks like. For a lot of you, you may feel like your person has moved on, but the truth is they can't stop thinking about you. This is a level of obsession. You're in this person's head. And I feel like whoever you're dealing with, they're coming to this major breaking point because they know they have to reach out. They know that time is ticking. Granted, time is linear. The moment you let go of your perception of time, when will this happen? What is this going to be? The moment that you really do release that and you detach from a timeline, that's when it actually comes in. I don't know why, I don't know how it works, but I do know that that's kind of the key to having reunion is releasing expectations and releasing the expectation of time. But with this person and this feeling of being a power couple coming in, they know that you and them are going to make a lot of people jealous. A lot of people are going to envy the two of you because of what you guys do together. For some of you, you guys come together and you write a book about the twin flame journey. You may already be writing a book, or you already may be somebody who writes music or is an author or whatever it may be. Or this could be you and this person coming together and building this beautiful empire together. Whether that's having the family of your dreams, whether that's moving in together, having a home, whether that's having a business or multiple businesses or a nonprofit, there's a lot that comes with the two of you guys being together. And I feel like this person knows that. I think that this person acknowledges that this is more than just, a standard dating. You're somebody that would take this person to the next level. And I feel like they know that. I also get that with your person, especially with this career focus coming out, love is on the back burner until they feel financially stable and money motivated. So this person right now, you may feel like they're ignoring you or like they're not as focused on you. They're not paying attention to you the way that you like it. But this person is very, very focused on being able to provide for you. It's interesting because I feel like for some of you guys, when you guys come back around your twin or your divine partner, whatever you guys want to call it, you're going to notice that all of a sudden this person is more motivated when it comes to work, when it comes to their career. And you may even feel like for some of you guys, well, why all of a sudden do they have all these things? It's not because they don't want to be with you or they don't want to see you, but you've really inspired this person to want more. You've inspired this person to want better for themselves. That's how you know. I feel like, especially as a masculine, that that person is perfect for you when when the feminine is able to push you without pushing you to want better for yourself. Even for the feminine, this person should make you want to be better. This person should allow you to be in your feminine energy where you feel comfortable, where you feel like you don't have to do everything yourself. But part of this is this masculine energy or whoever being very, very focused on their career because one, love has never really worked out, and two, they want to be able to have something to offer you. Whoever your person is, they're planning something. Your birthday may be coming up, or there may be, some special occasion. They've been preparing a love offer for you. You will be surprised and shocked. So there is definitely coming in here with this person wanting to do something, wanting to take you out, wanting to spend time with you, whether it's at home watching a movie, ordering food, or whatever it is. I feel like this person wants to spend some very quality time with you, and they're in the process where they're really planning, they're really thinking, they're really trying to navigate this entire energy. But I also get that it is really about them working up this courage. There's also something here where I feel like this person wants to open up something about their childhood that really did affect them. And I feel like with this person, they do want to be a part of your family. I don't know why, but I'm getting that strongly. Like they want to be a part of your day to day. And I think that with this career focus, it's more than just their career. This is this person realizing that they needed to work on things within themselves that was affecting the connection, that was creating unnecessary blockages, unnecessary insecurities within this. I feel like for some of you guys that are moms, your person looks at you and wishes that they had a mom like you are with your children. Or for those of you guys that are masculine and have children, like they look at you like, I wish that I had that growing up, that stability. I think you've treated this person better than their entire family did. And I feel like with this person, they've realized that they've tolerated a sense of being treated poorly in their previous relationships because that's something that they know. And I also get to this person didn't really want you to find out how toxic their environment was or how toxic the environment is that they're in. Like this person is embarrassed about it. I know that's right. With this more outgoing energy coming out, moving towards you with confidence, ready to show you how much they love you. So this person is in this held back energy in the beginning, and then it's this feeling of all talk because I think for them, it's like, you are their wish granted, but they know that they've not really opened up. They know that they've not really shown you this. So because they've not taken the time, because they've not shown you this, they're worried that when they come forward to have this communication about wanting to be together, wanting to be this power couple, but also at the same point in time, really trying to focus on their career. This person wants to share with you what they're planning, why they've been working so hard. This person wants to open up here with this extroverted feeling and tell you, I'm moving towards you with confidence, ready to show you how much I love you. But I think that this is why this person has been very focused on this career. This is why this person has been very focused on whatever they have going on here, because reunion is near. The force of love, the force of reunion is unstoppable. Together we are one. Reunion is coming. This person is getting ready to reach out to you, getting ready to express to you how much you know you truly mean to them. I feel like your person right now is tired of being heartbroken. The wrong choice was made, and now they sit in the pain of losing you. For some of you, they may have even lost you, not talking to you, not seeing you, not being around you, not being around your energy. It makes them upset. It makes them sad because, believe it or not, but your love is very healing. Your love is something that is very nurturing. It's really the nectar to this person to get them out of their toxicity, to help them realize, that they are loved, to help heal that bruised ego, that wounded warrior that your person is going through. Like that's what your energy is meant to do here. This twin flame connection. Sometimes I feel like this, right? Sometimes it is important to acknowledge when people are jealous or acknowledge when people are whatever. But it's kind of like it's about the two wolves, right? It's the wolf that we feed is the one that does well. So if we continue to feed into negativity, negative outcomes will continue to manifest. So for me personally, I always like to take a higher elevation or a higher viewpoint of the situation, but I feel like with this person, they're tired of feeding into everybody else's opinions, how everybody else feels. This person knows that this is a once in a lifetime type of love. You feel like home, you are one. This person wants to make you a priority, no longer an option. I am making you a priority, and my actions are going to match my words. That's this all talk realization. That's this person saying, listen, listen. Okay, I know that I've not been the person that's treated you right. I know that I've not been the person that has, taken action on things. I know that you've had to create these boundaries. I know that you've been disappointed in me and disappointed in my actions. I know that you are healing to me, and I know what I need to do in order to make sure that, you are significant to me. And I feel like this person is really going to try to go out of their way to make you this major priority because the two of you guys are marrying each other right now. Your soul is a mirror of my own. Thank you for treating me with love and respect. That's why I always say when you heal yourself, you're able to heal this person because you're a mirror of them. When you are at a healed point in your life, certain things don't bother you, right? Have you ever noticed that when you weren't healed, when certain things or certain issues would come up, you would make more of a big deal about them versus just letting it go, versus just letting it slide? Because you're healed, because you're confident, because you already understand that whatever this person is going through, it is not a reflection of you in the sense of if they're acting out in a certain way that says more about them than it does you. But you have to be at a healed place in order to understand that, in order for us to not take it personal. I also feel like, too, during this solitude, you've been very, very patient with this person. And for some of you, you have this agreement that you guys will come together at a later date. But I definitely feel like with this person, they do want to make you this priority because I do feel like with this person, and them are definitely mirroring each other. And I feel like your person has probably really put themselves into work or tried to like throw themselves into work in order to not think about you and the connection. But this reunion is coming. All the negativity, all of that, whatever's going on, whatever people thought would stop this, nothing is going to stop true love. Maybe it's prolonged, right? Maybe there's a pause, but at the end of the day, a connection that's meant to be is a connection that's meant to be. Okay, we have the Two of Pentacles coming up in reverse. This person is no longer juggling you. I feel like they want to come forward and they want to balance out this situation. And I feel like whoever this person is, they've come to some type of decision with the direction that they want to go. This is Jupiter in Capricorn. Your person also, believe it or not, when things go well with you and them things also go well in their career. I don't know why, but this person is also like, I feel like they fill their day with a bunch of busy work, busy time to try to keep their mind off of you. And I feel like this person is no longer doing that. They're working smarter, not harder. There's a lot that needs to be said here, possibly from a Gemini, or this can just be Gemini energy in general. But there's some type of quick communication that wants to come in here where this person all of a sudden is coming out of being stuck, coming out of this quicksand, and then wants to have this conversation. And I think that when you have this conversation with this person, you're going to be surprised with everything that they're expressing, with everything that they're communicating. You may feel like the way that this person is, it's almost coming off a bit like, or like, where is this coming from? Because there's so much that they've had to hold back that they've not said to you that it's just almost going to come out uncomfortably. Or you're going to look at this like they have like diarrhea of the mouth almost, or like, what the hell? Because I feel like whoever this person is, they're very quiet, they're very toned down, but all of a sudden it's like they're making this decision to finally open up and express to you everything that they've been thinking about for such a long period of time, for years. For some of you guys, it's been years that you've been dealing with this person, and finally they're coming forward to tell you this. And they're coming forward in a very intelligent manner. But I think that it may surprise you with whatever this person is communicating, especially with the Eight of Swords. This may be something where you're just in your head trying to process what they said. But I also think too here, your person is so tired of being stuck in this mental prison, See, that's the worst thing in the world for a Gemini is to not be able to express or communicate. It almost like eats them alive with all this Gemini energy. Eight of Swords, Knight of Swords. This person is really in their head. They're tired of being depressed. They're tired of being in this mental prison. They're tired of being fixated and acting like that character from You. They're tired of having this fear of losing you, this anxiety. They're tired of being alone. They're tired of this mental chaos, of always feeling like limbo in limbo. And they want to just take this chance with the Ace of Cups. This person has also been very curious with whether or not your intentions are pure. And I feel like somebody's watching this now going, my intentions are, what about your intentions, right? What about the way you communicate? What about the way you say things? Or why are you not doing this? But I think that perception is key. We can look at this glass half empty or glass half full. And I feel like with your person, it was easier for them to deny how they felt about you versus acknowledging somebody like you, right? Would have this deep-seated emotions that your intentions are pure. This person is really beginning, I feel like, to understand who you are at a core level, and their feelings are growing for you. They also may be worried that if they don't say something to you soon, there's going to be a new love that comes in. But also, too, with the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is really about self-love, right? Having enough love for yourself to be able to express yourself emotionally, to be able to open yourself up emotionally. With the Two of Wands here, this is Mars and Aries. I love this energy. This is a very quick acting energy, especially with the Knight of Swords. And remember, this Two of Pentacles is actually in reverse. I just put it upright because I like all my cards upright. This person, for some of you guys, they've been weighing the pros and cons of your situation, weighing the pros and cons of what to do here and how to move forward. And they've made some type of decision pertaining to how they want to progress with you. For some of you guys, this is traveling. They may need to travel to see you, or they may have recently discovered some type of information pertaining to the situation that got them unstuck. And now all of a sudden, I feel like with this person, they want this partnership. They've made this decision. They're very, very confident right now. They've gone through some type of major battle, possibly with a karmic or some other person, whether it's their job. They've overcome some major obstacle in their life where now they feel confident enough to make you some type of offer of moving forward. Because I feel like right now your person has been very tired, very exhausted of always being on the go. There's been a lot of late nights here. But with this Nine of Wands, this wounded warrior, I feel like you're this wounded warrior, right? Where you never really gave up on this person. And I feel like even though there's been a level of distance, even though you're tired, even though maybe you have your guard up, maybe you've created these boundaries, maybe there's been a lot of setbacks in your situation, you know that everything is going to be okay. There's something inside of you that's guiding you. There's something inside of you that's saying, hey, this person loves you. This person wants to be with you. This person wants to see where things are going to go between the two of you. And you know that you're being guided here. You're being guided to a very traditional relationship with this person. And this person is listening to their higher self. Whoever you're dealing with may be very religious. They may pray. This person is tired of always fighting what is meant to be. And I feel like with this Hierophant here, they're tired of waiting outside of their comfort zone. Think about the traditional tarot. The Hierophant is considered the church, the teacher, whatever. You maybe have taught this person a sense of spirituality. You maybe have taught this person to get realigned with God, to put their faith back in God. There's something about your energy that's aligned this person in the right direction. And I feel like whoever this energy is, they're tired of waiting. They're tired of waiting for something to happen. Look at all of this Jupiter energy. Jupiter in Capricorn, Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter in Leo follows their heart. You want to know how things expand with the Jupiter in Leo? By following their heart, by doing the right thing, by being loyal. This person is expanding the way that they're thinking, and they're also organizing, right? Putting together a plan of action. Capricorn is beautiful with putting together a plan of action on how to succeed, on how to move forward with all of this Jupiter energy. And then you have the Mars and Aries to back it, which is creating that fire, which is giving this person the confidence to succeed. Look, The Ten of Swords came out in reverse. This person doesn't want to hurt you anymore. And I feel like you're going to be coming out of this Ten of Swords energy very quick. And there's a lot of justice that's coming in the situation where you're going to have communication and an understanding on why things happen the way that they happened. Now, let's see things from the 3D perspective. How does this person view their current romantic relationship with the collective? What is their current viewpoint on the collective? Okay, so let's see the Eight of Pentacles. See, I think that this card came out, but it's funny because it also wanted to be paired with this Three of Swords. So your person is actively working on repairing this Three of Swords. The Three of Swords hits right when the person is in the Two of Swords. The person has a decision to make, and either they don't make the decision or they make the wrong one based on their ego and not their heart or their logic or whatever it may be. But this person is working through whatever pain they've gone through. And I love the Eight of Pentacles here because this is a lot of self-work that this person is doing in order to have this succession with you. How is this person viewing themselves in this connection with the collective? Okay, Five of Wands in reverse. They're no longer going to be fighting this connection, which I love. They've learned some type of lesson pertaining to their ego. How do they view the collective in this connection? How does this person view the collective and this connection? Okay, the Six of Pentacles. Interesting Taurus energy is coming in here. What is blocking this connection for the collective in this person? What's creating this major blockage for these two? Okay, wow. The Nine of Swords jumped in reverse. I think that this person, honestly, I think that they have to get out of their head. I think that this restless anxiety about making the wrong move, I feel like that's panicking them. But we're going to find out more about that in a second. What is this person thinking about when it comes to the collective? The Ace of Swords, clarity. Look at the top and the bottom of the deck. The Ace of Cups calling you, contacting you, expressing to you. The Tower and the Three of Wands breaking this weight, no longer waiting. There's something here that they want to say to you. There's something here that that's been illuminated to them. Oh, I can't wait to find out what this is. You know what I'm really curious about? I want to know what they're thinking about with the Ace of Swords, what they've had this all of a sudden, this aha moment with you. And then also this Nine of Swords in reverse, because I feel like that's the only blockage now. And this blockage isn't even coming in as a blockage anymore. I feel like what is this person's next actions towards the collective, the Chariot? Oh, they're going to come see you. There's something here where something is moving forward very, very quickly. Okay, let's see, what is their intentions romantically with the collective right now? The King of Cups. Okay, I like it. That's our first cup card coming in. It's a lot, or we have cups here, but it's a lot of pentacle energy. And I like the fact that the Five of Wands is in reverse. I really like this. And what's the collective's advice here dealing with their person? The Empress. Oh, I like this. Okay, I'm really excited. All right, look at the bottom. 10 of Cups, 3 of Cups. There's a reunion that's coming here, and there's going to be an overexpression of this communication. I feel like it's going to be coming out of nowhere. And I do think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with whatever this person says, because I feel like this person really does want to work on things. All right, that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.